Welcome to English 2311 Business and Technical Writing. I'm your instructor, Dr. William Smith. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself, welcome you to the class, and talk just a little bit about how this class is going to work. If you've never taken a mini-semester class before, they can actually be really challenging. The schedule for a mini-semester is extremely accelerated. They're very intensive. Well, if you think about it, you're taking a class that normally takes 15 weeks and you're doing it in 3 weeks. So we're going to cover material 5 times as quickly over the session. It's going to feel like taking 5 classes at once, basically. It's going to have that same amount of workload. And what that means is it's really important that you make sure you have the time necessary to commit to this class. You're going to have to be working on the class every day for the next 3 weeks, probably on the weekends as well some. You're going to have to be working multiple hours every day, I would suggest. If you don't have that time, or if you don't want to spend that time, you might consider taking the class in a longer session, whether it's the summer session, which is 5 weeks instead of 3 weeks, or a long semester, taking it in the fall, for example. If you do have that time, it's a good way to get a class completed very quickly. And I don't think the workload's going to be overwhelming for that 3-week period, but you are going to have to move very fast. So first thing, just make sure you have the time that you need to dedicate yourself to this class to make sure that you can be successful. Now I'll look just a little bit at how the class is actually structured. And to do that, let's turn to the course page. So the course page looks like this. It's set up using what in Canvas is called the modules method, or the modules view, which means that for each unit of the class, and then we'll talk about some other modules in a minute, for each unit of the class there's a group of pages, resources, assignments, etc. that is the module for that unit. The thing about modules is that you can see when you go to the page all the resources in that module, but the modules are really made to be accessed sequentially. In other words, for the first day, for example, for Monday, May 11th, what you really should do is, as it says here, start here, and after you go to the first page and read some information there, you'll see a next button and a previous button, and then you should just go through the pages in order using the next and previous buttons. And the reason for that is you want to make sure that you access every resource. I know those of you who are comfortable and familiar with Canvas, you may be tempted to go straight to the assignments list, for example, or to click on assignments from the gradebook or various things. Students access course materials in lots of different ways. But each of those other ways has some dangers inherent in it because you might then miss information. So, for example, if you just go to the upcoming assignments and click on this assignment that's due on May 11th, email your instructor, when you click on it, you'll see it says using the principles outlined in the How to Email Your Instructor resource, but you won't have seen that resource unless you've been going through the pages in the module sequentially. So for every module in the class, you really need to start at the first page and then work your way through them. And you can see here on the course page, I've started with a module of general course materials. So this video obviously is on its first page. There's a page of information about how to contact me, lots of ways to contact me, and I'll hit on that in just a minute. The course outline, if you want to read it, a separate version of the course outline in downloadable printable format. Actually, let me back up. You should definitely read the course outline because the course outline has information about course policies, information about grade breakdowns, how much each assignment is worth, etc. So I definitely encourage you go through every page in this general course materials section before you start working on anything. You know, if you've had face-to-face college classes before, you know that the first day of class often starts with the instructor going over the course outline in some detail. At least my classes generally do. So this going through the materials in this first section is a way to sort of emulate that, right? You'll get all the important information you need regarding how the class is structured, how it's set up, etc., all the policies you need to know, all that kind of stuff. Then you'll notice that there's a module for the first day of the class, which is just sort of an introductory day, where we talk about technical writing in a very general context. But after that, there are 3 units in the class. Unit 1, which focuses on the kind of writing you do to get a job, so like resumes and cover letters. Unit 2, if we scroll on down, focuses on how to write instructional materials, so you're going to be writing an instruction manual for that unit. And then Unit 3 focuses on writing technical reports. Each of those units has a major assignment at the end of it, or rather, major assignment that dominates that whole unit that everything is related to. And in each of the units on the first page, the overview and general instructions page, I encourage you to start by reading the assignment instructions for the major assignment for that unit. So for Unit 1, which starts on May 12th, the first thing you should do is read the instructions for the job packet. And I put a link on the first page, but it's also the very last item in the module because that's how the module ends, is with turning in this major assignment. If you go to the course outline briefly, you can see the sort of breakdown of grades in the class. For each module, there are a variety of minor assignments, little things that shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes or so a pop. There's quite a few of those. Then the 3 major assignments, the job packet, instructional manual, and the recommendation report, you can see they're worth 20%, 20%, and 25% respectively. And then the final exam, which is worth 10% of the class. So that's the way all the assignments kind of fit together in terms of your grades. Going back to the list of modules, you can see, for example, in the Unit 1 module, I said already, the very last thing in the module is the job materials packet. That's where we're headed. But there are other assignments as well. So on Tuesday, there's a quiz. There's a minor assignment here, find a job ad, etc. You can kind of see as you look through the module what the other assignments are. But again, you'll get to those assignments naturally if you just go through the pages of the module in order. You can see that what I've tried to do, and this is a little different from what I do in a regular semester or even in a summer semester, I've tried to break the units up into days because our schedule is so compressed that it's important that each day you're making a certain amount of progress towards that major assignment. So Unit 1, which lasts from the 12th through the 17th of May, you can see I've broken up in the instructions or materials for Tuesday, May 12th, then more materials for Wednesday, May 13th, Thursday, May 14th, etc. You can kind of see how that works. Some of the assignments will require you to work with other people in the class, and I've divided the class up into 2 teams. Team 1, Team 2, you can see which team you're on in the course page, and we'll talk about it once we get towards one of those team assignments. None of the major assignments are you working on collaboratively, but you will certainly be working on some minor assignments collaboratively and in terms of looking at each other's work, giving feedback and help, etc. So you are going to be interacting with each other somewhat. There are also some discussions for your team where I post a question or a scenario and ask you guys to talk about the different elements and ideas in that situation. And sometimes those are graded discussions, sometimes those are informal, ungraded discussions. At this point, what I'd encourage you to do is start making your way through the materials, starting with the general course materials section. And again, I'd encourage you to read the course outline. Some of the sort of general stuff I want to briefly talk about. I am available pretty much all the time. I don't have office hours, obviously, in this session because I'm not allowed to be in my office or on campus for that matter right now. But I'm available pretty much all the time, and certainly from 8 to 5 during the week. I will respond to you, or I can talk to you in other ways at your convenience during that time. But I'm also available on the weekends as well. There's a phone number on here for you if you want to call or text me. That's a number that's forwarded to my cell phone from the hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you can text if you want, or you can call, although it's probably a good idea to give me a heads up if you're going to call so I know that it's you. I do also want to mention that you will need the textbook for this class, which is The Essentials for Technical Communication in the Workplace by Elizabeth Thibault and Sam Draga. You can get it at the Weatherford College bookstore, obviously. It's kind of expensive at the Weatherford College bookstore, $73. You can rent it on Amazon for $20. That's, you have to wait for it to come in, and because the class moves so quickly, that may be difficult for you to miss that time. And also, and I'm going to put a link on the course page for vitalsource.com, which is a ebook platform where you can rent the ebook of the Essential Technical Communication for, I feel like it's less than $40. So it's pretty cheap as well. But you will need the textbook. If you look at the modules, you can see there are quite a few chapters that we're reading. There are quizzes over those chapters, but more importantly, those chapters sort of guide how we're approaching the major assignments and how we're approaching technical writing in general in the class. I think that's all. You can look over the other policies, etc., at your leisure. This page you will have already seen at that point, but I'll just briefly hit again that I really think the most important thing you can do to ensure your success in this class is to make sure that you and I are communicating with each other as well and as frequently as possible. The more contact we have with each other, generally, the better you'll do, just because you'll understand the course more, you'll get more feedback, etc. So I've put on this page a lot of different ways for you to get in touch with me. You can send me a message through Canvas. You can send me an email. You can use that phone number, as I mentioned, to call or text me. And then also, I'm going to be having some what I call virtual class meetings or video meetings, as you probably have done in the spring semester if you were taking classes. I'm going to have some of those over the next few weeks. They won't be required because I don't know that your schedule necessarily matches my schedule. But I'll have those video conferences where we'll be going over different ideas in the class. And you can join those and you can ask me questions that way. And then if you have questions that aren't answered there, if you need some sort of discussion with me that email or texting or even a phone call won't accomplish, I'm happy to have a video conference with you individually through the Canvas video conference system, which is known as Big Blue Button, or through another system like Zoom. If you've gotten comfortable with Zoom during the shutdown, I'm happy to have a Zoom meeting with you, for example, if that works for you. But the key is to stay in touch with me however possible and make sure that I can stay in touch with you. So at this point, you should go ahead and finish working your way through those general course materials and then move on to the module for the first day of class, May 11th. As I said earlier, this class moves very quickly. You really can't afford to take a day off. So you need to start making progress through the course. And if you have any questions as you look over anything, whether it's over the general course materials or over any of the materials in that first module, just let me know using one of the methods that I've posted on the course page. I really do want to communicate with you as much as possible, so don't ever feel like you're bothering me if you send me a message. Answering questions for students, talking to students, helping them out, that's my job. It's what I enjoy doing. So please let me know how I can help you. I'm really looking forward to this course. If nothing else, it gives us something to do while we're stuck at home. Or at least I'm still stuck at home. I don't know about you. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to working with all of you. And if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. Thanks.